Every single day through these works, I try to embody the world that I want to see. Hello, welcome to another episode of Untapped. I'm JED-LEE Metayyer, and I'm an abstract artist working with spray paint, Posca, and anything I can get my hands on, thanks to this residency from Bailey Contemporary Arts. Happy to be here. This is a piece that I'm renaming called Sanctuary. I started creating out of a necessity for a safe space. I was going through the grief of losing my father during the pandemic, and I tried a lot of things that just weren't very good for me. And I'm like, listen, I just need a spot to just pour into and to be all that I am and to feel all that I am. I wanted to be able to create a peaceful environment that feels like you can walk into it. I had somebody cut this piece of wood into a doorway shape. Every moment I was spending working on this, I was meditating, I was praying, I was singing, I was crying, and I was just trying to find peace. And that is really the core of my work. This is actually the first Uzumaki that I made. Uzumaki translates to spiral in Japanese. And this symbol represents the cycle of birth and rebirth and the nonlinear nature of growth. And if you look closely, I fill all of my works with these shapes, but it never really gets repetitive, but they all influence the shape of the next. And that's like all of the choices and experiences in our lives. We make one choice, whether you regret it or you're proud of it, it influences the shape of your next choice. I call this piece Infinity to kind of touch on the infinity that lives within all of us. We are infinitely in our past, present, and future, but all of it collides into one moment. Not even collides, but harmonizes. So just trying to promote inward peace and meditation, honestly. This piece, everyone loves this piece so much. So this is a piece that I call Faith. I wanted to capture the feeling of being in the midst of perhaps a sandstorm, and all of the winds are just whipping around you, and you really can't see right in front of you, but you know that there's a distant star, and you just know, I'm just gonna put one foot in front of the other and move in that direction. And sometimes that's all we have to go on in life. Just a direction to go in. Ground yourselves, move forward. So this piece is called Play. I needed to remember what it felt like to be a kid, what it felt like to just create for creation's sake instead of trying to be the most amazing, profound artist in the world, and just let myself be. I employed as many different techniques as possible. This is the first piece in which I had this fluctuating gradient. This is the first time I used gouache. This is the first time I did a wash. I wanted to capture is just that lightheartedness that we felt as kids. We have to hunt it down. We have to create it for ourselves. This one's so deep, bro. Oh my gosh. I was inspired by the wilderness depicted in the Bible, which is the space between your past life and your promised land. If we can't wrestle with the parts of ourselves we can't come with us, there's no way we'll be able to live up to our promise when we get to that destination. So this is supposed to represent that constant push and pull, that back and forth within ourselves that we feel on a daily basis. I call this piece Optimism. I was donated these street signs from a very good friend of mine, and she's like, feel like you can do something with this. I don't know what here. I'm like, thank you, amazing. To be a real optimist, you have to go through things. To be a real optimist, you have to have came up out of the dirt and still found a way to find happiness. They're only supposed to be facing this way because there's only one way we can go, and that's up. This piece is called Sonder. And Sonder is a word representing the fact that everybody around us, including those we don't interact with, has a life just as complex and nuanced as our own. And with that being said, there's a lot of things all of us have in common, more than we would initially think. And I wanted to be able to capture that invisible connection that we all have. This probably has the most empty spaces as possible, just representing different people and their paths. This is the second piece that I made in that 6 a.m. marathon of a last studio session I had. I called it Purify. I think I want to call it Transfigure. And transfigure is a term that represents spiritual transformation. We must be renewed in everything that we do, in every single season. And the moment we start trying to rush past the intention of the season is the day that we start to create underbaked versions of ourselves. This is Genesis. This is my baby. Genesis is one of the most important pieces I've made. I created it a few months after my baptism, trying to grapple with who I was and who I wanted to become. And I had this strange calmness and acceptance about it. And with this piece, I decided from now on, I'm going to include God in my creative process, the ultimate creator being my inspiration. This is the first piece that got into museum. Like, this got into Coral Springs Museum. The county, before they even started rocking me, reposted this piece. They put me on the cover of the museum show with this piece. And ever since I made this piece and dedicated it to God, everything has started to flow in. This was my new beginning, and it's only been getting better from here. So I love Genesis so much. I'll call these vessels. The idea is that this gift is not my own, but I am simply a vessel for the gift. This is a gift passed down to me from above for me to be able to share with others. So we can go outside and check out the mannequin. This is the vessel personified. This is me, being in my purest, authentic essence. It brings me peace. I know that I'm just an instrument in an orchestra. I have a part to play. I need to harmonize with others. But what good is an instrument if it's not in the hands of a master? And every single day through these works, I try to embody the world that I want to see. Thank you guys so much for coming and seeing my gallery. Thank you, Burgundy. Thank you, Bailey Contemporary Arts. God bless you. Sending love from my heart to yours.